Welcome. You made it. Congratulations, you're here. I'm so excited that so many people have shown up for our wonderful, miraculous experience that you're going to now be part of. That's going to be going on for the next 90 minutes, but it's going to seem like a flash because there's so much that I've got to give to you today. I'm Dr. Barry Morguelan. I'm a gastroenterologist, endoscopic surgeon. I've been working both as a medical doctor and, as you know, I brought back from China after working there for 25 years the wonderful, wonderful discipline extending all the way back from Lao Tzu and Wan Di, hanging there on the mountains there for 25 years, learning these disciplines to bring to you that you can use to be successful. And so I'm going to show you today how you can use these because it was always an oral tradition. So this is the way you're going to get it today, and we're going to deliver it to you so that you actually can take off in everything that you're facing right now. So let's talk about right now anyway. First, welcome to everybody who's new. Welcome to people who know about Source Energy. Welcome to people who know about Energy for Success, the name of the company. I love that you're here, all of you, and I love that your loved ones are here, that friends, and I know that we're in a period where it's not so good. It's not so good for some people. Hasn't worked out so well. Big surprise. Some problems. People weren't expecting to have the rug pulled out from underneath them. And we're going to show you how this discipline is made just for that. It was the discipline that was used by the entire emperor's army and all the people that ran the country all those years to be able to know any kind of change and be able to handle that change, and that change becomes a challenge that's no problem. So what is the difference? What's the difference between what happened so far to you in life and where you are right now? Well, let's just start with the fact that I already know, and we're going to handle this. So let me give you an overview, that there's people who right now have questions that want, and we're going to answer those questions. What do I do about my financial situation? What do I do about my health situation? What do I do about my spouse maybe being out of a job? What do I do about someone who's sick? What do I do about the fact that I've got something going that I don't know if it's going to last? What do I do about, like, well, you know, what is my future going to be like? And what my plans? Should I keep my plans? Should I change my plans? Every one of those areas, whether we're doing good before all the problems hit in the planet, or whether you were doing so-so, doesn't matter. You're doing great, poor, wonderful, all those, you're going to need this information. This information is so valuable. It's why I went back and forth to China for 25 years and still did surgery here in Los Angeles, because it was so fascinating to see that with using these energy techniques, which I'm going to be showing you today, you're going to be learning energy techniques on guided breathing visualizations that you can use at home. You're going to learn physical practices. You're going to learn guided mental practices, all that use these special vibrations that allow you to do your total superpower ability that you know you really have, that maybe for now with the news and everything else, it's gotten in your way. So I want you to know you're not going to have anything in your way anymore. And the most important thing I want you to know, starting now, at this moment, with us and with me, I am here. I'm not leaving. I am here for you. I've developed this program for you. You no longer are alone. You're not alone. Say it. I'm not alone. I'm going to be with you throughout this entire 90 minutes. And we are going to have a special program, which I'll tell you about at the end, which will even help you, so that I'm going to be with you every minute, so that every day in mental, physical, emotional, you're going to be able to make great decisions to turn it around. Because you know, and you've heard it, but you don't know what to do right now, is people sometimes profit or sometimes succeed even in times of stress. And there was a great guy, Ruskin, famous philosopher, said that, you know, really how much a man or a woman really earns in his life is not so much what the financial And of course, it's important in the friendship and the health, but it's what did that person make of himself in growing and learning throughout the whole process of being alive? And what if this whole discipline, which I'm imparting to you today, is all about you reconstituting yourself every moment so that you're a star in your physical health, your emotional, your spiritual, your financial, your relationships, your creativity, your free time, both for you and for those you care about. That's what we're going to cover today. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to recognize these energy techniques are being given to you throughout the whole process of the day. So you'll be getting an energy technique in the beginning, middle, end, and also as I'm presenting the material, what my training was in China for so many years was being able to impart to you in the media that we're presenting right now the actual vibrations so that you can listen to this again and you can watch it, and even while you're watching it or listening, take it all in and let it allow your entire neural system to go with it so that you can actually start to see that this is something that I don't have to think about. It like feels natural or it makes sense. And you'll see that it works for you. It works for human being. You're not alone because you're a human being. And this discipline was set up for human beings like you, like me, like all the people I'm going to tell you about today with the examples and the questions who face the same thing that we're facing right now and how they won using these techniques. So stay tuned throughout the entire time. Don't leave. You need to be here. Take notes, pay attention, and let's start with a physical exercise. We have over 250 different physical exercises I brought back from China, but one of them is just so simple that you can just put your hands above your head just a little bit. Whether you're sitting, let me step back a little bit. Here you go. And you could just put your hands above your head a little bit, and you could just lean to one side and breathe. You can do it if you're sitting. Go ahead. Or you can do it if you're standing. Doesn't matter. The reason we're not showing my hands, it doesn't matter where your hands are together or slightly apart, but I want you to be able to expand and breathe into that part of your shoulders that usually you're allowing what I call the matrix, that world of cultural milieu that always is saying there's an orange cone here, there's an orange cone there, you're going to have to not do this, you can't do that. So I want you to lean each side and take 2 deep breaths. Now go ahead. That's one. And I can even get back here farther. You can see it. And you can go to each side, 2 deep breaths. But hold it and see if you can get bigger each time. And then stretch it. Stretch it. And then the other side, and then stretch it. And make sure you're not leaning forward. You want to have your knees slightly bent and just sort of lean as far as you can. That's better. And then another one. And then to the other side. It's okay. What you're doing is allowing yourself finally to oxygenate to the extent that what we need to get going for, because we want to keep going, get your brain, every part of your body working. We're going to have other physical exercises for you too, but you notice you can keep talking and keep breathing because you have much more capacity, and that's what this course is going to be about for you today, much more capacity than you ever even have realized or tapped into, and we're going to teach you all the techniques to be able to tap into it so you can be like what Ruskin said, which is that you can find out that what you can make of yourself and what you can reconstitute yourself throughout your lifetime, what you can create is so much greater than any trophy that you've got. It's like your best trophy. Because then you can stand in the mirror, you can stand in front of your thoughts, you can stand in front of your emotions and say, oh no, this is what we're doing today and this is how it's going to happen. There you go. Okay, so now we'll come back here to center. And this is the ultimate energy watch party. You're going to be getting source energy vibrations throughout the entire presentation. And some of the vibrations you may feel, some of them you may just sense, other ones you may notice it just afterwards, you're just ready to go. All of those count. But I want you to know that I know people don't have answers yet. I know people are concerned. I know people have oh well, I physically, what am I going to do? I don't have the power to maybe run around. I'm being locked into my space. I don't have the power to do these things. All that's off. We're going to change that right now. So I want to tell you a story. First story is about someone I talked to just yesterday. And the interesting thing about this gentleman is that he proves, just for like you and me, that the problem he's facing at his level is same as the problem that anybody's facing, even if they're making no money now. So this gentleman called me and he says, I'm making $1.5 million a year, and now my company is up in smoke. I don't know what to do with it, what's going on during this period of stress. And you've got to tell me what the right decision is, tell me what practices, tell me what energy vibrations. He's been a client before, part of my private client group, and I said, well, what is the situation? He says, well, my company's in big trouble, with all the problems with people and people not being able to go places and do things. We're really in trouble. But I said, well, is that really what's causing it? He goes, well, not really. I already know the solution, what to do to fix it. I said, good. He says, but the board won't listen to me, and my family, who's also in the business, they won't listen to me either. And so I said, oh, I understand. So let's do an energy practice. So we did an energy practice with him, just like yours. Took a deep, this is another one. And after he took a breath, I said, let's take another one. It's always good to take another one. So you can do it right in the middle of a stressful situation. That's what I want you to see. Slow is best. The slower you go when you breathe, it's the best. And so what I said to him was, hey, is this situation you've got with the board not listening to your solution and to your family, is this the first time that's happened? Or is this, because you say you're in danger of going bankrupt, and you usually make over $1.5 million a year cash salary. And believe it or not, his story applies to him and applies to you whether you're making $1 a year. Because he's going bankrupt now and he doesn't know what to do. So we're all in the same boat. So this is a story about human being, how to make the right decision when things are not going well and it doesn't look like there's any chance for you to make the right decision. So I said, did you ever have this problem before? And he says, well, I don't know. So then we did breathing exercises, we did physical exercises. And he started to say, well, yeah, the truth is the family and I have had really some difficulties previously. We actually have had times where I had ideas and they were really great, but they always fought me on them. And I said, how did those ideas turn out? He says, oh, my ideas is what built this company into being a multi-million-dollar company. I said, really? And how's that been going along? He said, well, that's always been the problem. I've been the one with the great ideas. I've been the one who's had all this wonderful information, but they always were, pushing me down, criticizing it, and they always owned more shares than me. So that I said, well, how many shares do you own? He says, well, I own a small part, but I'm the one who built this company into being a multi-million-dollar company, and now it's going to go under, and they don't know what to do, but they don't want to listen to me again. And I said, so as you went back in your life, how many years has it been? This gentleman's about 45. How many years have it been that you've been sort of not being able to get done what you wanted to get done because other people were like, either putting fear into you or taking advantage in a situation or slipping you one where you couldn't do what you wanted to do, and yet you had the right ideas? And he said, well, probably, much of my childhood, youth, going through college, everything. It's always been that struggle. So I said, so then what have you done using the energy, because he's been doing energy practices, knowing that the energy allows you to be win-win, allows you to make a clear decision without fear. I said, what have you done in the energy, or what have you done using the matrix? And I told you the matrix is this agglomeration of all the cultural things that come into us that tell us that, well, you really can't do what you want, so you have to slime around, or you have to manipulate, or you have to smile when you don't want to, or you have to be angry just to get your point across, or you have to be irritable, or someone won't listen to you even though you don't want to be irritable, and it raises your blood pressure. So I said, how long, which one has it been over the years? He says, matrix the whole time. I've always had to think of something else to get my point across, and they've benefited from it, and now we're going to lose the company. And I said, so listen, it really doesn't matter what you want to know right now first, because there's something before that that we all need to learn today. All of us. We all need to learn this. What's been in your way all this time, because you're a human being? And there's only two things going on in this world that the ancient Lao Tzu and the Chinese emperors discovered so long ago. There's really only two things going on. That's what the yin-yang symbol is all about, the black and the white, that you have just two choices. One of them is this wonderful opportunity, the energy, where you're expressing yourself and you're just victorious, You're like Jet Li, you're out there fighting and you can take a gun away in 2 seconds and that person just looks there because you're so in the moment, you're in flow, you're in the zone. The energy provides each one of those qualities to you. You're going to see that after this session today. But I said that you haven't been using that, have you? He goes, no, I've had to make up stories. I've had to yell and scream. I said, how much yelling and screaming? He said, oh, every board meeting's always yelling and screaming. I said, so really the real problem is not what's the next good decision you need to make. Of course you want to make money now. That's the decision. But the real problem is who's making the decision? Who? Human being. Human beings either facing the matrix or the energy at any time. It looks like you've been falling for the trick of the matrix all this time. He says, well, what else could I have done? I said, if you'd use these practices, then you wouldn't be in fear anymore. And he just went, you're right. You're right. I'm always in fear around my family. I'm always in fear of the board. And the way I gussy it up is I work out or I, take a bunch of supplements or coffee or whatever it doesn't matter. But the point is to gap myself up, but still I'm covering the fear. So that's like a bunch of pressure taking your energy away, using that pressure on top of the fear. These practices today that I'm going to be giving you, and in the program that I'm going to be introducing to you later, is so with you every moment so that fear's not an issue. And that's what gets in the way. That's what they discovered so many years ago, 5,000 years ago, is that you could walk through dangerous places. And they show this in some of the movies that, Doctor Strange, where, you're walking out into space and things like that. And like a Jedi, you're doing things that seem almost impossible, but it seems that way because you're not listening to fear anymore. So you actually have your real abilities. And so Ruskin was right that those abilities are in you, and you just left them a long time ago. And right now, most people who've been writing in questions and telling me about their problems with, worries they've got, concerns, future, present, is so distracted that they're being pulled into the emotional up and down of the matrix. We're going to get rid of that. It doesn't help you. Remember, the emotional up and down the matrix is like a rocking chair. You can sit back and forth, go forward as much as you want. Nothing happens. You're going nowhere. You're just worrying. Today's about you using the energy practices, not being alone anymore. Not alone with fear, but alone. Never again. You and the energy are going to be powerful to go through life. Your back is covered. You're going to be able to draw on any of these practices, any of the vibrations, any of the physical practices, any of the breathing practices that are going to allow you to actually take over and succeed. So what I said to him, I said, so if you're willing now to see that all your decisions up till now have gotten you this much percentage of your company and this much aggravation and this much problem with everybody, why don't we turn this whole thing around? Because you're the one who had all the great ideas. They really need you more than they need their crazy, narrow-minded matrix point of view. I told them many people in the matrix point of view is sort of win-lose. They want to say, I'll want to win and you lose, and if you lose more, then great, I'll take even more. And we see stories about that, but you don't want to be around those people, I said. So we need to see if you're even going to be part of this company going future. And we're going to make decisions now about your company. Only you're going to be the one who's going to make the deals, and they're going to allow you to either take it and make it happen like you did previously, or we're going to start a new company. And he just lit up because all of a sudden fear was not a problem. Because he was stopped. I said, no one could have made it with those people anyway. You were going up against people who I call category 3 or 4, who are like always out to cause you a problem. You don't want to do business with people like that. So I said, the whole process up till now would have happened anyway, even without this whole story about the virus and people staying at home. You've had this same situation since you were a kid. Look right now, every one of you. take out a pen and paper, and I want a goal of what you want to accomplish today. One goal financially and one goal physically. So physically and physically. One goal about what you want to do about how I would like to be physically tomorrow and the next 30 days. Let's make it the next 90 days. How I want to be physically the next 90 days and how I want to be financially the next 90 days. Make a goal. Now's your time because you've gotten over the hump like, oh, it's not going to work, and plus I'm alone. And don't tell me I'm not alone, because when I wake up in the morning, I'm alone. People talk to me, but I'm still talking to myself, so I'm really the one who's alone. No, you're not alone when you've got this support system that constantly takes the fear out so that you expand to this level to where you're 360, and then you're actually able to succeed in being creative and using the Einstein part of your brain, which is what all these energy practices are about. And so you're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to use today and each one of the practices as a springboard. So I know that there's been stress. I know that if you watch anything on the internet, television, even the movies, it's all there to upset you. What's the difference between that and his board that he was facing, or his family? He could have had a good family and a bad board. Could have had a good board and a bad family. It doesn't matter. His whole process of living his life was making his decisions incorrectly when it came to other people and groups and life and creating business. His creativity was great, but to communicate it in life, he was in fear. You have a level of fear which is totally unnecessary. That's what they discovered 5,000 years ago. This is going to be able to let you get rid of it. Not get rid of it like, oh, I have to shoot it. It's just not going to be around. You're going to be able to go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be Michael Jordan, and what we need to do, it's 1 second left. I need to put the ball in the basket. And yes, I love doing this because I get to be, like Ruskin said, I experience myself growing in each game. And some people say, well, oh gosh, I don't know what all my right decisions are. That's what we're going to deal with today. We're going to deal with how can you make better decisions. But can you make the decision from being the person you were before, I told him, right now? Or can you make the decision from the person that you really are? The one who you know you were when you first started into business, when you first started with all your great ideas. If you look back in history, I said, every success that you've had was your great ideas. They were the ones that just massaged the thing and actually were just caused a problem along the way. So you're going to find that you're going to make new decisions today. So write down, I've given you time to make your goal, one goal for financial and one goal for physical. Okay? So already we're getting reports that people are experiencing a little bit of relief from this stressful time. People are saying that, already I'm feeling some experience of the vibrations of source energy. And I want you to know that source energy is all about you having this opportunity to not only grow, but always experience yourself newly. So what does it mean to experience yourself newly? Which means that, oh my gosh, I have something to look forward to tomorrow. Yeah, you've got today, say today was this big victory, and then tomorrow is one that you surprise yourself and it's even bigger. That's what we're going to do. So one of the things I want you to do is know that all the people that are here that have invited loved ones and the people that have had, very close friends that you just invited the first time, I welcome you so sincerely. Stay with this. You don't need to understand source energy because it's an opportunity. It's how you're made. Your sensors throughout your whole body, just like your ears, your eyes, your nose, they're all set up to help you and support you. You have these other sensors which are using all these wonderful, worthwhile, non-fear vibrations, not grit, but non-fear vibrations, which is what all this is about, so that you're not alone. I'm here with you, and these practices are going to be here with you every day from now on. So here's another practice I was going to show you. There's a physical practice we had once, which I showed people in a session. And what it is about, it'd be good if you could stand up, but you can do it sitting down. I do this outside surgery sometime. And all you have to do is stand with your knees a little bit bent and take your hands gently in front. And you're going to put one hand here on the side, one hand here. Yeah, one hand here. Let me just get right so that everybody can see me. Good. There you go. All right. So one hand here on your side. See, like this, fist, and one hand in front. And so the reason you want to know this exercise is because this energy practice has a lot to do with how you are in the world without fear. And you want to use this. So you don't have to be stiff, just relax. One fist here, one hand here. And with this hand, what you're going to do is you're going to, with exhalation, you're going to go shh. Okay? And then you're going to make a fist. It's a dragon exercise. And bring it back, and then bring the other one out. And then again. And then. You can do this. Yes, I know I'm moving you around. You don't need to understand. You want to just feel it. You want to experience your power coming up. You're going to be experiencing throughout this entire session that you're becoming more powerful. You'll see it. You'll send it in the messages to us. We can't wait to hear about it. So watch it again. So you can do it from either side. Ready? And pull your stomach in. Great. And try it again. Now, I want you to imagine for just a moment that, well, just say, for just conversation's sake, that the whole virus thing, everything's over. And you're now let out into the world, and you're going to go to work every day and do whatever you can do, and you're going to be successful. You've got your goal that's going to happen financially, your goal that's going to happen physically. This physical exercise is going to help you be physical. It's something I do every day. It's something I do in between surgeries. Let's say that you're doing this practice, and when you do it, you just sort of imagined while you were doing it that everything around you is applying itself according to the way your goals are. Not that you're doing positive thinking, even though Churchill said positive thinking is the only thing I think that possibly makes any sense, and he's correct about that. But you don't want to be positive thinking while you're digging a hole in the wrong place when you're looking for oil. You want to be able to do something that works. This is 5,000-year-old technique. Do this dragon exercise. We'll do it again. It works. It pushes all the vibrations away from you that you really are not being supported by, which is what I call the matrix. And you don't even know how it works, but you'll find out that it does. And you don't know how your Ferrari or your VW works, but you do know that it's fun to drive, and this is fun to drive. Your body is fun to drive, and one of the most important things today is to recognize that the first place of occupying your power, and that's what I had to get this millionaire to understand yesterday, was that you have to be in your body, and your body can't operate if you're in fear. And if you're in fear all the time, you can grit, you can push yourself through it, you just hurt yourself. Or you'll end up with a partial solution like him where he has plenty of money, but he's always in fear and worried about what the family thinks, and I'm never able to win an argument, so he's never happy. You want to be like Ruskin said, where you actually become the person that you can't even imagine, except when you were younger, what you could have been. And now what you can be. And that's what I want is for today. So use this period, this break, this whole schmear about virus, whatever, to say, okay, what we're handling now during this hiatus is I'm going to use the next 3 months. I'm not going to experience being alone. I'm going to actually use these practices, and I'm going to be able to make a bet on myself. And the bet on myself is that I'm going to do it without fear. So what are you going to do? You have to have practice, because if you use the technique of trying to be, what he was doing was manipulative, yelling, screaming, angry, running away from the board or his family, even though he's making millions, you're going to do this practice and some breathing practices I'm going to show you. But the mental part of the physical practices, they go together, and we're going to show you mental practices, but one of the most important things is that at any moment you can actually push all the whatever is around you and create your own space, one that's powerful, one that allows all the real energy that's waiting for you to come in. You don't have to play their game. That's what I told him. You don't have to be stuck in their thing anymore. You can actually create your own game because you're the one that created the business anyway. They need you more than they realize. So that's going to be the situation for each one of you. It's not just the next decision which is going to be better. Your next decision is going to be so much better coming out of this period. You're going to be stronger, you'll see over the next 3 months. You're going to be stronger financially, physically, emotionally. But you are going to be, as a person, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, you know, I am stronger. I am more powerful. I have more abilities now. I'm actually more into being able to be successful. And you know, we have a practice for you. We have an actual program, which I'm going to be presenting to you, that's so wonderful, that's going to be presented towards the end, that's going to give you a chance to stay with us and work with us continuously so that you're not only not alone, but you have something to do every single day over the next 3 months. And I'm going to be presenting that later. But first, what I wanted to do was I wanted to give you a chance to have one of the techniques of a guided breathing visualization. So if you would just let yourself turn off your cell phone, please. Don't look at your messages. Please turn email off, but dog out the door. Come on. Close the door. No noise, no radio, nothing else. Let's just close our eyes for a moment and we're going to do a guided breathing visualization. And then you'll be able to listen to this again at another time. But the most important thing is right now, see what happens. See what you feel. Recognize this whole process of feeling alone, feeling you have to use matrix techniques of either fighting or win-lose or anger, or just what he was doing was, you know, becoming a chameleon or just falling apart or coming across irritable or just erratic. All those are bad decisions and they didn't produce anything after all these years. And now he's going to end up broke anyway. So now's the time to be the right guy and then you're going to succeed. So let's close our eyes for a second and let's use this breathing practice to fuel your goals. And all you have to do is let me just take you on a guided breathing visualization. So I know there's children watching. I know there's older adults, there's middle-aged adults, young kids. Everybody's welcome. Just close your eyes and let's relax for just the next few moments and enjoy a guided breathing visualization. This is also something I brought back from China, and it's loaded with different levels of vibrations which allow you to do the same thing with the physical that you did, only you're doing it by just your internal state. And just like we did with the breathing that we did earlier. So close your eyes for a second and I'll close with you. Good. So, if you keep your eyes closed and you just relax for a second, you'll see that, well, it's not that difficult for you to just, you know, let your shoulders relax just a little bit. You just listen. You don't have to watch the screen anymore. You can just listen to what we're saying here and allow yourself to just flow here with me. So your neck, you can just let it just sort of float for a second. And as you take a deeper breath, it's not difficult at all to recognize that you can breathe. Before we breathe into the shoulders, it's not difficult to actually breathe into like the front and the sides of your neck and the back. So try that with your eyes closed. Yeah, try it again. Get the front of your neck and the back of your neck almost like you're expanding a big balloon, and in both sides also. Now take a deeper breath. We're doing this together, come on. So now as you breathe down, you'll notice that you have a bigger space through the neck to breathe in, and we already did the shoulders earlier, so You can let the sides of your shoulders, the front of your shoulders, the back, the scapulae. This medical terminology is still wonderful. It's all our wonderful anatomy. Just breathe. It's one of the gifts of Mother Nature, the universe, God, he or she who is the creator of all of this. It's all for you and me to actually experience what we can become. And as you breathe even deeper, you'll notice that you can take actually the sides of your chest, the lower rib cage, and as you breathe, you can actually go not only sideways, but front and back. And as you do that, it sort of occupies more space. It's not just one direction. It's like completely expanding all four at once, the two sides and the front. And then slowly let it out. And as you just sort of float there for a second, breathing, you sort of notice with your eyes closed that that space in front of your eyes, with your eyes closed, it's not really flat. It may be flat for a second, but then it gets granular. And then it sometimes has a little light in it. Sometimes it has little gray spots. Sometimes it's black spots. Sometimes blue. Sometimes color. Sometimes you'll see a flash go across it. So on the screen that's above your eyebrows with your eyes closed, while we're breathing here together, you can sort of see a flicker of light that appears maybe a little bit over to the right. And then there's like maybe another one over to the left, almost like lightning bugs in the summer. Just click, all of a sudden it's on, it's off. There it is. And then little one lower on the left lower quadrant, and then one on the right lower quadrant. And as you watch them, they start to, if you just allow them, they start to migrate towards the center so that they start to actually go in towards like a circle, and they start rotating around so that this light keeps rotating around more and more towards the center until it forms like a little granule there. So it's actually this light granule there that's sort of a gold, silver, platinum, little bright spot there that's, it's there for a second, then it disappears. I agree. It's sometimes there. Sometimes you sense it. Sometimes you can feel it. There's people, when I was doing this in Korea, who actually were able to sense a different odor when the light appeared, a different fragrance like flowers. And they say, is that the flowers that Buddha left when he was walking? And, I said, there isn't a sense that isn't there for you as a gift of beauty. This whole planet, this whole moment-by-moment experience is an opportunity of becoming more, enjoying the beauty of your body's performance, internally, externally, with people. So notice that little dot, and then breathe it, and watch it slowly make its pathway as you breathe it, and you can breathe it all the way down past your chin. Yeah, it'll follow. Go ahead. It'll follow. Go ahead, try it. Whether you see it or not doesn't matter. Just sort of sense it. Your senses are what you're accentuating now, what you're developing. When I was in China so many times, and when I was hanging on a mountain in the middle of the winter, and there was no one around, and I'm supposed to pull in a vibration to get me out of this circumstance, and I don't know what it is, I knew that I needed every one of my senses to be alert, aware, and accurate so that I could pull in whatever new vibrations I would need. And that's what we're training right here. So let yourself breathe. This is your chance. And then breathe it down. And then notice as it goes past your chest, this little light, sometimes it'll like get a little brighter, maybe right around the chest period. Actually, during the chest period, it can get even brighter. Till finally, the whole chest becomes like, well, watch. It can get even brighter so that it's little gold, silver, platinum, but it starts to have its own, eminence so that you can actually breathe down and feel this warmth that's going all from your shoulders down through your chest. And whether it's warm or cool, wherever you are, it doesn't matter. It's the sensation that you're reaching for. Reach for it. Go ahead. So as you breathe it down, just sit there with it for a second and see if this experience of this sun that's emanating back and forth around you, under your shoulders, under your breastbone, in your abdomen, occupying this whole space here. Just allow that sensation to flow in and out as that gold, silver, platinum essence of a light sort of emanates in a larger pattern around your chest and abdomen. And then you can let it flow even down so that you're actually covered in this wonderful, wonderful space that you've created that actually is filled with this gold, silver, platinum space. So around your legs and actually inside your legs, you can go down through the spaces between the muscles. There's so much, the body's like so much actual, if you look under a microscope, so much air in there. There's so many spaces to go through things. So you can just let this light just float all the way through all those spaces, all the way down to your feet. And then you can feel like, oh, I've got this like whole, space around me that's gold, silver, holding me. It's not bad, feels good, feels okay. I can move with it. You could go even deeper. What if we went about 9 feet deeper? Go ahead, breathe all the way down further. Yeah, and you can go through, if you're a geologist, you would go down through the sand and the dirt and rocks, just drill down there and send that, gold, silver, platinum beam like a drill all the way down about 9 feet. And then, once it gets down there, since the hole's there, it'll come right back up and then go all the way back up through your legs and up to your abdomen, through your head, through your forehead, and then you can send it down again. Well, you could send it down even further. Go ahead. You could send it down so that you're really feeling you've like put a root into the earth. Go ahead. Put that root in. Put that drill down. This is your birthright. Do it. These sensors are here for you. 5,000 years. We're going to turn them on for you to use now and forever. You're not going to be alone. Send it down, send it down, send it down. Farther, farther, farther. You could send it a mile into the earth if that's what would make it stronger, so that if you were in some type of contest with other people or something, you're completely powerfully rooted here. And you're able to be flexible, but you're not about to give up and go into win-lose. You can still pull in the energy and come up with a great solution that's win-win. And then you're happy, they're happy, and then you can become what you've always wanted to become each moment. Keep breathing as you become more powerful now. And yeah, you can go ahead and breathe on even farther. Feel it. Now, feel your feet. Whether you're sitting or standing, you can feel your feet. They're actually more rooted in the ground if you give them a chance. You can feel that pull that's coming back because now you've sent that vibration straight down, and so you can like pull yourself against it. And you can feel that you could even balance if you wanted to. You could actually lift one leg. We'll do that later on another practice. But you could change in any position because the earth is here to hold you. The vibrations of the earth have been studied. They're here to make you healthy. You just need to pull them in. But you just don't stand in dirt. You have to stand in who you are. You have to stand in the power of who you are. And no one does that because everyone's being distracted by, yeah, you got it, the distractions of everything other than learning how to turn on their sensors with all these wonderful ancient practices, which we now have for you today. So breathe the gold, platinum, silver, all the way up until it goes straight up through your body, back from the earth, up through your head, and way up into the sky. Way up into the sky. Let it go up into the blue, the blue, the blue, the blue, the blue, until it goes up into so much blue you pass through clouds and they sort of refresh you, and then, oh, I'm up into this blue, and this blue is so interesting up here in the sky since we're looking at down in the earth, powerful, but also powerful up in the atmospheres because you're part of all this. This whole universe is, we can say it in so many ways, but this whole universe is really here at all moments supporting you. You just have to be able to pull in the vibrations of this source energy. Keep going up. Go into the blue. And now what you see, whether you see the blue or you sense it, whether it's a French blue, periwinkle, any kind of blue, you might see pink, you might see red, you might see just still gray, you might see just little speckles of anything, it doesn't matter, but sense blue, and the blue's so interesting that you can see so far in the distance. You can actually see mountains that are actually with a volcano behind that's exploding way up in the air. And you can see orange streamers coming way up into the sky. And as you see those streamers come around, you go, gosh, this is a great place up here. There's a lot more in this universe that I can start exploring that's here for me. I'm going to get these practices and use them. They're going to make so much sense. So put a check mark here so that you can come back here another time. And now what we'll do is we'll take that gold, silver, platinum beam that was riding us up, and we'll just ride it down like it's a string to hold us like a kite, and we'll pull it down as we ride down with it, and we come down gently, even more gently, and as we come down through the blue, even further through the blue, down slowly as you come down to where you finally end up on a scene, keep your eyes closed, to where you're actually, on a sandy beach, where there's like a white sand, and ocean coming in, warm sand. Go ahead, you can let yourself feel that. This is your chance. Take this in, give your body this opportunity to refuel. We're gonna start from a place where you're powerful all the time. No more second place. No more having to be passive aggressive. No more having to be aggressive. You're gonna be fully certain, making great decisions in a way that you know you can because you're coming from your true, not being alone, power source, that you're connected to the whole planet and the universe all at once with these practices. Over 256 vibrations, over 250 different physical practices. They're all set. So as you sit here on the beach, this is a time that you can sort of get the sense that, well, this would be a good time to lock all this in. So why don't we just rub our hands a little bit. We're almost closing this exercise, but we've got much more for you, much more. We've got questions. We've got so many other things coming up. But if you start rubbing your hands for a second, get a little friction, and put your hands over your eyes. You can put your left hand on your left eye, right hand on your right eye. Doesn't matter. Or you can put them right on your eye. And just take it in. And then let that all lock in. Go ahead. Lock it in. There you go. And this is your bonus. You get to actually make a third goal. I gave you two in the beginning, financial and physical. So this one's about anything you want. At this point, make a goal. It can be relationship, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your children, your family, your sick relatives, your mother, father, aunts, uncles, yourself, your own health. Make the goal here. This is the place. This is what you're going to see in your future. And then rub your hands again just to get a little friction. It may be cold hands, warm hands, doesn't matter. Then put them both over your chest bone. It's okay. You can put it one hand on top of the other, left on right, right on left. And take that in. Now, pick your other goal, your physical goal. Come on. Take your physical goal. Whatever you wanted physically, your strength going through the next 90 days, this challenge period that we're going to crush. Put that now here. Put that goal here. This is the place. This is the joy you're going to have in life of what Ruskin was saying, becoming, not rocking chair of worry, which goes nowhere. No becoming, nothing new. All right, now rub your hands. Last time. Here we go. And then put it over your belly button. One hand on top of the other, left hand on top of the right. My hands are right over my belly button, if you can see. So I'm right here, like that. So we're over here. So put your hands over your belly button and keep your eyes closed and make your, that's right, your financial. Go ahead. Make your financial goal. Make that statement in your power place. You're making it from a place where it's you. It's you. You're the one who's swimming in your lane. You're the one who's going now. You're the one who's not about to be stopped by just somebody's nose guard floating into your lane, because you've got a mission. You've got a place you're going. You've got a goal that you're going towards now. And with you going through your goals, you know in the past you've made successes. It's just you got distracted before. Now the distractions, we already know the major one that's cost most people, almost everybody, every moment, get in the way. And this is getting rid of that fear. No more. Every day, we're just going to stay in this zone. We're going to stay in the flow state. It's not going to be an issue. So make that financial goal. Somehow, you're going to have the job, you're going to find a way, you're going to call somebody, you're going to make it work. And then take a deep breath, come back in the room. Now, that was a guided breathing visualization. So you're going to be able to do that multiple times in a day. Now, that was a longer one because I wanted you to have that power today to get out of this yuck that has been sort of submerged on you, this Play-Doh that came down around everybody that means nothing about your future. Because as you could see with this gentleman who already had a problem with his company, it was never that good anyway. And when I asked him, how happy are you really? Wasn't that happy. Wasn't happy before, wasn't happy now, and not gonna happy. So he needs to start anew anyway. So let's all make a goal. We're gonna start anew right now. That's the way you were built. Your cells are forming new every second. Get with the program. Start anew. It's a sense, it's a vibration, starting anew. That's what we're doing. We're pulling in the vibrations that are new. Yes, you didn't know what they were before, but now you're experiencing them newly. And then tomorrow they'll be new again. And then when we're finished, they'll have another practice you can do when we're finished, and that'll be another new experience. So that every moment it's like the photography, when you do time lapse, you'll see the flower just opening up. And then you get to look forward to that. So we have questions. People have asked great questions. So Yasmin called in and she says, can you expand on what the energy is? Okay, so source energy, there's all kinds of energy. There's oil in the ground, there's atomic energy, there's energy in the wind. But really, energy is, as Einstein told you, energy equals mass times, speed of light squared. So if you were going to actually utilize that equation, you'd want to know how to get the power of that energy in all your sensors all the time. So some people try to eat the whole time, and we've already proven that doesn't work. Ruins your health, early death, and everyone gets sicker. So that isn't the best way to get energy, because your body doesn't like that kind of energy. Your body likes the energy we're doing today. Your body doesn't want to be alone. Your body wants to have these sensors all open like we were doing in these practices. So source energy is a whole spectrum of vibrations, not just one, like electrical energy, or like steam energy, or like wind energy. Believe it or not, there's if you're familiar with light, light is like white when you see it, like a lamp, but if you break it up with a spectrum, with a prism, you'll see that light's made up of a zillion different colors. They're gorgeous. You can see them on your computer. It's a big dial of different colors. All that God, Mother Nature, the universe put in there for our enjoyment and utilization, because they all are effective at being able to accomplish your next enjoyable becoming. So source energy has over 256 of these different colors in it for the major ones. And then there's another 150 underneath that. So, and then there's another 500 underneath that. So what the problem is that you need to know, well, am I accessing energy all the time or not? So many people said, well, before you went and learned all the energy practices, you had studied in the Shaolin Monastery, right? And I said, yes. And you also had a degree in acupuncture, right? Yes. And you also had a degree in herbology, right? And you're also teaching surgery in China, right? Yes. I was doing all that. Wasn't that enough? No, because it wasn't the whole spectrum of vibrations. You see, you need all of them, because someday it's raining, someday it's cold, someday that the market's up, someday it's down. You want to make the right decision every time, and you can when you are in total flow zone state. And for the people that have written the books about flow and zone, you know who they are. I've talked to all of them. They've consulted with me. They said, you've got the access. If people would just listen to you and take these techniques, they could get into what we're writing about. We're writing about getting in flow and zone, but they can't get in it because they're just meditating. And in China, this discipline, which I finally discovered when I got to work with the Grand Master, is considered, the fastest route to enlightenment. It's the way to go to Buddhahood. And if that's your goal, just enlightenment, and you're meditating now, or you're doing mindfulness practice, I welcome you to all the practices that we have here and that we're going to have for you in this special program I'm going to offer you later. But source energy is picking the source that feeds the tree. So acupuncture is one branch. Qigong is one branch of energy. Electrical energy is a branch. Tai Chi is another branch. I learned all those first. And then finally I said there must be something that's creating it all, which is the same thing Einstein said, the big E. That big E, that trunk, is source energy. And what you're getting in touch with every time you do these practices, that's why what your visualization will be certain times during the guided breathing, sometimes it'll be one thing, sometimes it'll be a feeling, sometimes it'll be a thought, sometimes you'll be happy, sometimes you'll be sad, sometimes you'll have an aha, but afterwards you're going to realize, oh, I'm now refueled. I'm not alone. I'm strengthened now. I now have a switch I can turn on, and I actually am not having to think of a new thing. I don't have to go do anything. I'm actually going to be able to create that and find the right person or the right idea to make my next step. And remember, once you start making good decisions and you start winning, which is what this whole program, Energy for Success, is about, you're going to be winning, and you're going to be able to show other people in your family too. So this is going to get my goal of getting everybody to be peaceful by having them help each other. So there's another lady, Anag. She asked, how can I direct the energy to support, heal, restore my immune system? If you learn one thing today, please, the guided breathing visualization, if you just listen to that every day, please listen to it every day. Your immune system during this next 90 days is going to be fortified. That's what it's about. You have to do something. You just want to keep popping pills and think that's going to do it? How many times have you depended on, we're not going to say whoever the other, O-T-H-E-R person is, but you depend on other things. What about you? What if you have the ability? What if you're strong enough on your own? What if you're actually able to pull in the power so that, like when I was in China, you can learn, to break, 5 bricks with your hand and not even get bloody and doesn't even hurt. But you have to be able to know that you're completely not the brick. You're not the body. You are part of the universe. And once you're part of the universe, of course you have the power. And once you sense that, when you go down, it goes straight through. And that's what's going to happen with every one of you in the next 90 days as we keep moving forward. So your immune system needs to get stronger. And I agree with you. It's the most important question for many people right now. And that's what we're going to focus on every time you do the guided breathing visualizations. And we're going to have those for you in the program that we're going to offer you at the end. Emily asked a question, what's the best way to approach conversations with friends and family when they want to go to fear and worry? Okay, now we're talking about other people. Excuse me for a second. Okay? So now we're talking about other people. So let's go back to this gentleman. As a matter of fact, we have a different gentleman now. We have another gentleman who's a private client called me. Of course, this is a financial, upheaval time. So this gentleman called me. His company is worth, he says, about $60 million before all the crash. And now he's worried about every single thing under the sun. He doesn't think his company's going to do well. And he's thinking of going bankrupt. What's he going to tell his wife and his kids? So he's in fear. His family's in fear. And so I said, well, first, before we talk about the right decision, because let's find out why you're in such a financial status right now anyway. He says, well, it's the virus and everything else. I said, I don't think so. I said, tell me the things that are coming to you as bills now. I mean, did you all of a sudden make some new investments or something? He says, well, the truth is that because of the hard times, a lot of people are calling in for different loans I made over time that really weren't such good ideas. I said, really? Who were you trusting? He said, not such good people. I said, like what? He says, well, one guy I bought an insurance policy from, and it was a $20 million policy, which sounds exorbitant, right? I said, why did you buy that? He says, well, a bunch of people who I run with were all getting expensive policies, so I said, hey, I'm going to do one too, and so I got a big policy. And so I said, so what happened? He says, well, I can't fund it anymore. It's too expensive. And I said, so what's going to happen? He says, I'm going to lose the money I put in it, which I said, how much? He says, that's already about $900,000. And he said, besides that, the first to buy the policy, the guy who sold it to me, he made this huge commission so that I lost actually double that, and I still don't have a life insurance policy. I said, so can you see that where you're making a decision from matters? And how are you going to make that decision? Are you going to make it to try to be with the big boys? Are you going to make it because you don't fear you're enough? Why? Because no one fears correctly. Fear doesn't allow you to do anything correctly. So stop using it. It's not useful. So don't fear that I'm not enough. What could you do instead? Do your practices. And you could even get back here. Maybe you could see me even better. Even right now. And then here. Feel it. Let it go through you. Get back to your power place. It isn't a mental job. It's a total sensory experience, and that's why they were so successful. That's why they were able to rule. That's why it was never allowed to be written down. It's something that you can learn with each one of these practices. Now, come back with a smile. And so I told him, I said, so here's what you're going to tell your family, and here's what you're going to do as far as your future decisions, is one, after we did these energy practices, I said, do you see that one of the bases that you've been making your decisions for in terms of communicating to your family and communicating for what kind of deals you wanted to get into financially was to be with the big boys and to be with the people that you thought you respected way more than you respected yourself? He says, well, I respect myself. That's why I did it. I said, no, if you respect yourself, why do you have to earn their respect? You could be powerful enough and then you'd be win-win. It'd be equal. You wouldn't have to go, well, I hope you respect me. No, you'd like it, but you would appreciate that you knew who you were so they could see your light. That was that big, huge light in the breathing exercise. That's the real you emanating. That's your vibrational state. Einstein told you everything. You're partially mass, yes, that's the M, but you're also light and energy. You're mostly light and energy. You're almost no mass. It's such a bonus when you figure this out and start using these practices. You are a human being. This is your gift. The gentleman who lost the money, the first one, and the second one who had the whipsaw with his insurance policy, who's in fear about telling his wife and fear about how to make his decisions and trying to be bigger than he was rather than just saying, I have the ability to pull it in and make great decisions. I've done that before. I don't have to make a decision based on somebody else's approval. I can make a decision based on what I'm going to create, what I'm going to become, what's going to be a real contribution, what's going to be win-win. Because everything in the energy, everything we're doing is win-win. So if I am going to get an ice cream cone, you're going to get an ice cream cone too. In everything I do, I am here for you. I am going to be with you throughout the rest of this program and all the programs hereafter. So fear with other people is only that you're concerned about their reactions. You're concerned about their worries. And if you can be the energy while they're occupying a space of course, orange cones, worry, what else are they hearing? But just breathe and listen to it and try to get them to do the practices. Get them to watch this video. That'd be a great idea. And then you'll find that in the middle of the conversation, they'll go, oh, well, I have nothing else to do. Everything else hasn't worked. Yeah, this works. 5,000 years. All of Lao Tzu's material since back from the original day of the Yellow Emperor, all the 72 Grand Masters before that, it's all still working. It's all part of the physics of this planet for you to win. Now's your chance to let go of the fears material, let go of being alone, and realizing you've got a partner. And that partner's going to support you. And it's within you, pulling it out with these exercises, these vibrational sensors. Kristen, she says, as a physician, she's a doctor and master of the energy. She says, oh, Dr. Morgan, as a master of the energy, which I am, what does Dr. B see as a way to collectively use the energy to help the suffering people that they're experiencing right now in the current pandemic. So let me ask you a question. If you walk into somebody's room or you get on the phone, do you want to just go, "How are you?" No. You already know how they are. They're being beleaguered by the matrix. It's only two choices, like I told you in the beginning. That's why you need to learn all this material. You already know where they're at. And if they're in the place where you are in the energy, then great, you'll start off going up. But if they don't, then somebody in the conversation has to hold the space. And if you hold the space, they're naturally going to fall into it because the energy is so much more powerful than the matrix. The matrix all works by distraction. It's all a bunch of smoke and mirrors to get you to make bad decisions, to not look where you're going, and to trust some person who said they're selling you an insurance policy, and you said, "Oh yeah, I want it to be a big deal." But it's ridiculous. We get fooled all the time. You don't want to be fooled anymore. So when you meet people who are suffering, before you meet them, you need to prepare. So what you have to do is do these practices at home every morning. I do 90 minutes every morning. I do all these guided visualizations, these physical practices. I've been doing them for years and years. And what that allows me and everybody I've ever trained over the years, and as you know, people I've trained are famous athletes, presidents of countries, senators, governors, scientists. A lot of people have written great books and plays and movies. All those people, CEOs, people in Silicon Valley, all those people have been able to use these practices so they can stay ahead of the matrix. It's not other people. That's the problem. Everybody says, "Oh, I got to get away from other people. I got to get away from they're going to infect me or they're going to take my business." No. The way the world was set up, when the one was divided into many, it was so set up so that all of us could work together. Everybody, it takes a village. It takes each one of us to work together. Someone has to make the software. Someone has to build the hardware. Someone has to make the shoes. Someone has to make the gelato. And that's what makes all of us happy, that we work together in becoming what we find we're going to do. And so for the gentleman in the beginning, once he found out his new idea, he's often making a new company and he's ready to do it. And you and I have to make a new company every day, whether you think you do or you don't, because you don't know who's out there except they can either be your compadre, they can be your friend, or they could be someone whose matrix is playing win-lose. So if you can maintain the space, whether someone's suffering or whether they're playing, a game against you, you should make it so that I'm going to be totally in that full lit up space where I'm connected to the earth, to the sky, everything. And you don't have to experience seeing those things. You just want to be able to know that you're sensing it, so that if you've ever seen that movie Man on a Wire or Walking a Tightrope, it's to have that kind of balance is one of your senses. And people take it for granted, but it isn't for granted. Just try it. When you're standing, you want to be able to be balanced. You don't want to be able to say, "Oh, I'm going to fall over if I stand." No, you want to be able to stand and be balanced. You don't want to say, "Oh gosh, I don't have balance." You want to be able to always be able to say, every one of my centers is working, and then you're pulling in the energy, and then you're unbeatable. I have to have you reconstitute yourself after today. I have to have you go forward, do these practices. I want you to win. I am so committed to your winning each moment from here on out. It's what I really, really want for you. I want you to have that same commitment for yourself. You've got to be able to make that commitment for yourself in the next 90 days. Make this your goal. Make this your goal. You're just going to try it. Say, we're going to do it. So with people that are suffering, if you're in the energy, then you're going to be able to support them. Do you think you're going to be able to support them if you come to see them and you're all upset yourself and you're irritable and you go, "Yeah, same old, things are really a problem, and I don't know, I don't know what we're going to do here. I guess the whole sky's falling and the world never was going to work anyway." No, those people didn't make it through World War II. Churchill was about to lose the entire time and he never went there. You don't want to go there. That's not the winner's pathway. The winner's pathway is using these energy practices for 5,000 years that are so powerful that you're going to be able, just do them every morning, do them in the afternoon, do them between whatever your phone calls as you're looking for the next thing for you. But you're going to find when you meet somebody, prepare yourself first before you open the door to meet that person or pick up the phone. Don't just pick up the phone and say, "Hi, I'm this person and I'd like to know if you're interested in this thing." No, do your energy practices first and be totally in your best space, which will keep getting better and better throughout the day. Write your goals, and we have material to support you after this. And then you're going to be able to interact with anybody, whether they're a yes, whether they're a maybe, or whether they're a no. So let's see, do we have time for one more question? Let's see, one more question. Yes. During this climate, what are three, let's see if we can get this. Yeah, what are three what? What are three practices? Yeah, that'll return you the energy. Good. So we went through three practices and we gave you that in advance. So you're now set. So you now know the practice. We already went over them. Remember, you've got one with the physical. One is here, which I showed you. I'll step back again so you can see it in this camera. And over here. So we gave you one that you want to take 4 deep breaths, 2 on each side. Bigger and bigger, occupying all this and this on each side. We gave you the wonderful dragon where you're going to create the space for yourself. You're going to create that space. You don't have to think about it. Let your body do it for you. That's what the beauty of your body and the universe is, that you just got to recognize. Like Wordsworth said, everyone's moving around. No one's getting that everything in nature is ours. You don't see what's yours, what's trying to be given to you. This is the vibrations he's talking about in the Transcendentalists back in the days of Emerson and Thoreau. And then the other one was the breathing exercise that we did with your eyes closed, remember? And then you just follow along, which I already have set up for you on the tape. So now I want you to know there's something that's so exciting, I created it for the next 90 days for all of us. It's called the 3-month winning, no matter what the challenge is, Dragon Program. And this is a Dragon Program that I set up for you. We have other Dragon programs that are extremely powerful. This one is over the top powerful because it's about nothing standing in your way when it's uncertain times. This is the one for uncertainty. This is the Dragon Program for uncertainty. And what's included in it is a catapult call, which is this call where during the call there's these vibrations inserted in. So all you have to do is listen, whether you're in the car or whether you're sitting at home. I listen to them myself because the vibrations affect my sensors too. So I can imbue my own sensors and open them up with the same vibrations that have been put into the catapult calls because they deal with a topic on how to handle any kind of worry, any kind of whipsaw, any kind of somebody ripping you off, any type of somebody taking either your job or some situation in your health. All of those are handled in each one of these calls that last for about an hour, and you can listen to it over and over again, and by the time you finish, you're ready to go. You're ready to go in the game. You're ready to be Michael Jordan. I'm okay. I can do this. Not only that, but there's a guided breathing visualization included in every one. And oh, by the way, that's a new one every month. This goes on for 3 months. So every month you get one of these great calls that you can listen to over and over again, which you really need to open up these sensors more and more each time, right? It's not just one time it's open. Everything in life you know, whether it's physical exercise or it's following anything specifically, you have to practice it and you need a support system. This is going to be your support system. And left to yourself, you're going to have to deal with all that mess out there. Come on, this is your time to be you. The you that you knew when you were just a little person and you knew, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this thing called life. I can do this. Just give me the tools to do it. These are the tools. So you're going to get a guided breathing visualization, a new one every month for 3 months. You're going to get a physical practice, like the physical practices I've shown you. You're also going to get a mental practice, one on how to get mindset, so that every time, no matter if I'm going into a courtroom, if I'm going to call somebody wanting to do a business opportunity, or whether I want to just talk to someone who's in need, you're mentally going to be in great shape. And then there's also going to be something which is over the top. Nobody gives this. Nobody gives this. We're giving this as part of the program. And it's because of these times. I want you all to know you're not alone. You're not alone anymore. Those days are over. I haven't been alone since I came, since all the years of going back and forth in China and connecting to all the things the Grand Master wanted me to connect to that's part of our birthright. I want you to have the same thing. These practices are what will connect you to your real self, your larger self, the connection to whatever you consider that to be. So we have something that nobody has. We have dragon calls. And what they are is we have facilitators who actually are going to take your call, and we have a group call every 2 weeks. And you get to call in and ask your questions about how it's going. Yeah, you can say, I'm using this energy practice and this is what I'm doing. Or I tried this and it did this, how would I make it do that? And we're going to answer all those technical questions every 2 weeks. You're going to have that constantly available to you. As many people can get on that call as you want, and it isn't something where there'll only be one question. We know how to deal with people's questions and being able to move them through the energy so that you can succeed. Remember, the name of the company is Energy for Success. I want your family to be successful. I want your children to be successful. I want your children's children to be successful. It all comes from what the milieu is you're surrounded by. Do you want to be surrounded by orange cones and people who don't know what they're doing and letting viruses out in the world? Or do you want to be around people who really care about other people? Well, I really care about you. That's what I've devoted my life for, my entire life, in being a medical doctor, being a gastroenterologist, graduating from UCLA, GI department, working my way, in private practice, and then I'm teaching around the world, and finally wanting something much more for the world. Something that would allow you to be your own doctor, you to be your own guru, you to turn yourself on each day. And that's what these practices are about. So you also get a private Facebook group. So let me review. You get every single month, you get a brand new call, hour call that's going to just burst you up into powerful space. And people listen to them 2 or 3 times a day. One person said, I use them to change the molecules in my office. And they do. They actually change the vibration of the molecules. You understand that. You understand EMFs, right? Well, EMFs is another kind of vibration, which you don't want. These are vibrations that are going to imbue you. Try it out. So you're also going to get a guided breathing visualization, a new one every month. You're also going to get a physical practice, like I showed you, a different one. You're going to get a mental practice. You're going to get the group calls, which are amazing, with these super trained facilitators that have worked with me for years to be able to help you, and they'll be communicating with me, and I'll be hearing what your questions are. And then you get the private Facebook group. And I want you to keep, like many of you have, saying that you've had great results in today, and why so many people have been reporting. I didn't even report to you while we've been talking. So many people have been writing in saying, I've been having a great experience today, Doc. Thank you very much. This is really meaning a lot to me. I don't know why it's working, but it really does work. And you don't have to know why it works. You just have to know when I breathe oxygen, you don't have to be a doctor to know, oh, that really works. If I breathe in a certain way, that really works. And if you're MJ and you know how to hold the ball and you throw it a certain way to the basket, Michael Jordan, it really works. So all these are techniques. It's just no one ever showed you. No one ever translated all of it. That's what I spent all those years back and forth while I was operating my medical practice. So you don't want to miss this program. Now, normally this program would be twice this amount, but we cut it in half. So it's half off. $167 for 3 months. That's it. You can't lose. Normally, if you registered all this on the website or something, it would cost you double. But we cut it in half because I want this time to be a time that everybody moves ahead. Please, I'm going to pause for a second. We're going to put in the chat a button, something you can press. Press that button now. This is your chance. Press the button now. Do this for yourself. Do this for yourself for the next 3 months. This is going to be our opportunity to work together. You're not alone. You have the power. It's just no one's ever shown you the techniques. You knew a long time ago that you did. People told you a million things you had to do instead of just being you. This is going to allow you to be you, just like Ruskin said, and what you're going to become as you, rather than what somebody else said you had to do instead of just what you really knew was really you. So I love you all. I just can't wait till you join this program. So press that button and join this program. I'll wait another second, and then I'm going to take one last gift that I'm going to give you just before we close. I'm going to give you one last gift, one last breathing guided visualization. But I want to wait because you don't want to miss this opportunity. So press that button, become part of this program. I want to really see you in this program and be with you. So we're doing this together for the next 3 months. Together, every day. What time of the day? Anytime. I've used these practices on the airplane at 2 in the morning. I've used them walking through Europe. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. You're a human being. You're facing a world that's only you, and whether you're going to be in the energy or the matrix, this is going to give you your chance to win, finally, and feel good about it and not feel like, oh, well, I sold out or anything. You're going to actually win. And it's only $167. That's it for 3 months. Please, press the button now. Now, I love your comments, what everybody stated. I can't wait to follow you in the private Facebook group. I'll be entering into that also with the facilitators and communicating back with you over the next 3 months. This is a very special group. I want us all to win together. This is going to be it, our chance for world peace and really success in each person's life in each one of the great 8, that what the energy is all about. So as our last guided breathing visualization, I just want you to close your eyes for a second, just a mild second, and just realize that with your eyes closed, that really you are much, 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 much more powerful than you ever imagined. You are much, much more powerful than you've ever allowed yourself to experience. Breathe. Using the source energy techniques, you are powerful. None of us are alone anymore. I'm here with you. I'm going to be with you the next 90 days. I can't wait to be part of your group and see what happens as we all start to succeed. Each one of you using these practices that we're going to be delivering to you is going to succeed in not only relationship, financial, physical, your friends, your family, and then how you're doing, other people are going to copy. So your kids are going to get the same result. They're going to see you doing the practice, they'll do it too. I get reports about it all the time, where people are just going, hey, I'm doing this practice, and my 3-year-old is doing the same thing, and she's like doing great also. So I can't wait to see you. This has been a wonderful day. I love you all so much. There's been nothing but joy in delivering this, but the big joy is going to be what we're going to create. I can't do it for you, but I can do it with you. Just click the button. Some of you think, oh, well, I'll do it later. Some of you said, well, maybe something is going to come up that'll disturb. No, that's matrix. That's distractions. Don't get distracted. Do the right thing for yourself. Don't just start digging for oil over here against the wall. Dig for your energy right where Einstein said it is, right here where the light is. This is it. This is going to be your opportunity. I want to do this with you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being with you today. Love you, love you, love you.